Hello and welcome to Indelible Gaming. I'm Tommy, and today I am bringing you a versus video of the Logitech G502 Proteus Spectrum versus the Corsair M65 Pro. Both of these are top-of-the-line gaming mouses, so let's put them head-to-head and see which one wins out, in my own personal opinion and yours. Hopefully I give you enough information in this video. If there's something that I missed in this video, let me know in the comment section below so I can add it to my next video. Or if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below as well. So without further ado, let's dive in. Alright, so let's start off with the M65 Pro's marketing material. It is made out of sleek, awesome, aircraft-grade aluminum structure, perfect for those people that like to throw their mouse because it's going to be durable. The sniper button for on-the-fly DPI switching. The high-mass scroll wheel, which is very satisfying to scroll with. It has 9 programmable buttons. It's got the left and the right click, the center button click. It's got 2 buttons on the side there, and the sniper button, along with DPI up and DPI down. It's got fast, high-precision Omron switches rated for 20 million clicks. It's got advanced center of gravity weight tuning zones. What happens is you unscrew these, and then you can take out weights. It's got large PTFE glide pads, which are going to be these little tiny things right here that you can see. It's got an optimized sniper position where your thumb reaches right there nice and easy. It's got 16.8 million colors for the RGB lighting. It's got a 12,000 DPI sensor for pixel precise gaming. It's got powerful and comprehensive backlighting software suite, which is actually really impressive and very good. And it's got a surface calibration utility utensil. Moving on to the G502 Proteus Spectrum, it's got 11 programmable buttons, so you've got the left and the right click, the DPI up, the DPI down, the middle mouse button, and then left and right of middle mouse, and then you've got the profile switch right here. This button is actually a scroll wheel to make it an unlimited scroll wheel or not, and then you've got your 2 buttons on the side here, and 1 sniper button for a total of 11 buttons. It's got customized lighting for a palette of 16.8 million colors. Once again, nothing surprising there since it's RGB. You can add or remove 5 3.6 gram weights that go right in here, and then you just slip that guy back on. So it's really easy. It's got a surface tunable gaming monitor with Delta Zero technology, which I'll get into a little bit later. It has 5 on-the-fly DPI settings. Right now I only have 3 programmed in there. It's got an improved dual mode scroll wheel, which is pretty much what I was saying a little bit earlier, where you can scroll right here really simply, and then you can unlock it and scroll unlimitedly. And then it's got a durable braided cable. So does the M65 Pro. So let's talk about the similarities. They both have a sniper button, right there and right there. They both have excellent scroll wheels. They are a little bit different. The M65 Pro has more of a rubber feel to it, and the Logitech is a metal feel, but both of them are incredibly solid, very satisfying scroll wheels, so you can't go wrong in either one of them. They both have high precision switches rated up to 20 million clicks. They both have RGB lighting. They both have tunable weights. They both have large PTFE glide pads. They both have DPI switching. They both have optical sensors, and they are both from the PMW 336X line. They both have calibration. They both have braided cables. They both can use USB 2.0 or 3.0. They both have software utilities as well that you can customize them with. So pretty much they're the same exact mouse, just slightly looking a little bit different button layout and a little bit different optical sensors. So let's talk about the differences, because there are some differences. So the M65 main points is this is made out of aircraft grade aluminum. It has 3 less programmable buttons. It has a better sniper button positioning. It has 3 weights compared to the 5 weights of the G502. However, it is like 20.5 grams that you can edit in comparison to the 18 grams from the Logitech G502. It has a better software utility with more customization options. It has 3 RGB lighting levels, one right here, and then one right here. And you can edit every single one of them to be different colors. And what's really nice is when you're doing the DPI settings, you can actually change the colors as you go up and down, which to me is a massive positive. There isn't a dual scroll wheel on this, but the scroll wheel on it is very, very good. And you can program it with unlimited profiles. So now moving over to the Logitech G502 Proteus Spectrum, you've got 11 programmable buttons, so that's 3 more programmable buttons than the M65 Pro. It doesn't have as good of software utility, but it does have one, but it's very, very simple and basic. But the Corsair's one is a little more complicated, but way, way better. It does have the dual scroll wheel, and it has the 5 weights over the 3 weights of the M65, but like I just said, it's only 18 grams instead of the 3 and the 20 grams, but it does give you more customizability of the exact weight. It lets you fine-tune it a little bit better than the other one. You cannot program this mouse to open programs where you can with the M65 Pro, and it only comes with 3 profiles instead of unlimited profiles. Why that would matter is, for example, I use a K70 keyboard, and I have all kinds of profiles set for different colors depending on my mood for the day, and I can only choose 3 different colors for this guy if I want it to be loaded as a profile. If not, I have to go into the software utility and change it myself, which just isn't as fun and intuitive. So let's jump into the specs. So the M65 Pro has a warranty of 2 years. It is made out of aircraft grade aluminum. Once again, they're pretty proud of that, and it's just everywhere. It's got a DPI that starts from 100 to 12,000 DPI in increments of 100. It has the sensor type of a PMW3360 optical sensor. The mouse backlighting is in 3 zones, RGB, which is right here, the mouse button, and on the top here, even though this top one is like completely pointless because you don't like ever see it even with the lights off. It has 8 programmable buttons, which are Omron switches, which are rated for 20 million clicks. It's got report. The report rate on it is selectable from 1000 Hz, 500 Hz, 250 Hz, and 125 Hz, which I don't really know why you do anything less than 1000 Hz, which is 1 millisecond, but who knows? I'm sure there's people out there that would be happy to prove me wrong. If you're one of those people, let me know in the comment section below, because I am interested on why you would do that. It does have onboard memory. The weight is anywhere from 115 grams to 135.5 grams. The weight system is the 3 screws with 3 weights for a total of 20.5 grams of total adjustability. The mouse feet have extra large PTFE. The dimensions are 118 millimeters by 72 millimeters by 39 millimeters. It does have the Q software, which is the Corsair Utility Engine, is what that stands for. And the cable is 1.8 meters. It is braided, or in other words, it is 5.9 feet. And the game type that it's made for is first-person shooting. As for the Logitech G502 Proteus Spectrum, it's got a 3-year limited hardware warranty. The tracking is a resolution of 200 to 12,000 DPI in increments of 50. Sorry, you can edit them in increments of 50. The max acceleration is greater than 40 G. I don't know exactly what that means. The max speed is greater than 300 IPS. The mouse type is optical, with the PMW3366 optical sensor with Logitech G Delta Zero technology, which pretty much just means that it minimizes mouse acceleration and increases reliable targeting. All of those stats were tested on the Logitech G240 gaming mousepad. Responsiveness is USB data format 16-bit/axis. The USB report rate is 1000 Hz or 1 millisecond. You can't edit that. The microprocessor is a 32-bit ARM. And the glide, I don't know what any of these stuff means, so I'm just going to throw it on the screen and you can read it. And then that was tested on a wood veneer desktop. As for the durability, the left left click buttons are rated for 20 million clicks, and it will work up to 250 kilometers, which I think is a weird setting to put on there, but you know, they had it. The physical specifications, the height is 5.2 inches or 132 millimeters. The width is 2.95 inches or 75 millimeters, and the depth is 40 millimeters, and the weight is anywhere from 121 grams to 139 grams, with an 18-gram difference using 5 3.6-gram weights. So, let's talk about the differences here. The Logitech G502 has a 3-year limited warranty over the 2-year for the M65 Pro. The M65 Pro starts at 100 DPI, where the Logitech G502 starts at 200 DPI. The G502 can be edited in increments of 50 DPI over the 100 for the M65 Pro. The M65 Pro has 3 zones of RGB that you can customize each individually with color, and the Logitech G502 only has 2, which is the DPI and the G, and they have to be the same color and cannot be edited separately, which is a major negative for me, because I don't understand why you'd have a RGB mouse that you can only change one or the other, like just one color, and decide if one thing is on or off. The Logitech G502 Proteus Spectrum has the PMW3366 sensor in it with Delta Zero technology, where the M65 Pro has the PMW3360. I tried to do a lot of research to really see like if there's an actual difference between those two sensors. I couldn't actually find any empirical data that said otherwise, but in my own personal testing, the 3366 with Delta Zero technology is a more accurate sensor over the 3360. However, I have been using the Proteus Core, which is the model before the Spectrum, for a lot longer than I had been using this, but I used the living crap out of this while I had it. So I did a lot of really fair testing. And I actually really wanted the M65 Pro to be a better mouse, just because it would match with all my Corsair stuff. Anyways, moving on. The M65 Pro has a selectable report rate of 1000 Hz, 500 Hz, 250 Hz, or 125 Hz, where the G502 is stuck at 1000 Hz. The M65 is 6 grams lighter. It has also 20.5 grams of adjustability over the 18 grams of adjustability of the G502, but the G502 has 5 weights that you can edit the weight with, whereas the M65 Pro has 3. As for the specs, they're super close. I'll throw those on the screen right now. So the M65 is 118 millimeters long, where the G502 is 132 millimeters. The M65 is 72 millimeters in width, where the G502 is 75 millimeters in width, and it is 39 millimeters, the M65 millimeters for this, I forgot the name of it, and it is 40 millimeters for the G502. So really, they've got really close specs. The main difference is this is a shorter mouse and this is a longer mouse, but the other things are so darn close that I don't even know if you really actually notice a difference. However, with that said, the M65 feels way fatter in my hand than the G502, even though it's only a 3 millimeter difference. So that's kind of an interesting thing. All right, so let's talk about personal pros and personal cons. Remember, this is all personal preference, so keep that in mind when going through this. So take everything with kind of a grain of salt. You may agree or disagree yourself. However, for starting off with the M65 Pro, I think the aesthetics on this mouse are absolutely gorgeous. Literally, this thing is just, no matter which way you look at it, you get an erection because it's just that nice. Hopefully YouTube won't take down my video because I said erection, because that could be against the policies. Anyways, just had to take a little stab there for that. It's got the 3-zone RGB, which is fully customizable, which is really awesome. It's got way better software. It's got unlimited profiles. It's got a better sniper button placement, which, depending on if you'd use it or not, is a pro or a con. And you don't have to use the sniper button to like change DPI. It could be a reload or a jump or something like that. So you could actually make it like a lot of people use it as a jump, which would be really awesome because it's obviously really easy to kind of use if it's the jump button. It has really epic DPI switching. I really like how you have the different colors depending on the DPI that you're selecting. You can actually open programs with this mouse where you can't with the G502, which I think is absolutely ridiculous to the G502, or I'm just too stupid to figure it out in their really simple software. It's made of aircraft-grade aluminum, so it's definitely very, very durable, and it feels really nice and durable. It makes zero noise when shaking. The scroll wheel feels a lot tighter, and with the rubber, you have absolutely zero slippage, and it feels really good. Like, I had a super hard time deciding if I liked this scroll wheel or the G502 scroll wheel better, and I really can't even give you an answer now because they're both of them are so good that I honestly can't make a decision. The M65 Pro had way better packaging as well, and claw grip seems to be better over palm grip for this, even though both work just fine. This one, for my negatives, is that it feels a lot fatter in the hand over the G502. It doesn't move over my mouse pad as well, which is the Rocat Tato. And it isn't as accurate as the G502 for me personally. I did extensive testing. I'll throw up some videos in the description below. I'll have my videos of my accuracy test for the G502 and for the M65 Pro that you can do your own compare and contrast by watching both of those and see which one I'm more accurate of. Spoiler alert, it is the G502, and that might be another thing is that I was using the Proteus core before I was using the Spectrum, so that may be why I was a little bit better, but I put way more gaming into this one than I did into my Proteus Spectrum just to make sure that I would kind of try to tie them up. So I definitely use this mouse better, but I was less accurate with it, mostly in the really fine motor details over the overall reaching. The middle click of this mouse is also really hard to do, which I don't really like. And the mouse buttons on this, the left and right click and etc., all of the buttons for the most part other than the DPI switch, I don't think are as satisfying to press as all of the buttons on the G502. I have a Corsair keyboard and case for my computer, so matching this with the software would have been awesome just in general, but since I don't like it as much because of accuracy and comfort, I won't be keeping it. And it also has really sharp edges. There were a few times that my finger or my hand got stuck like here, and I'd be afraid of it getting caught really bad and cutting myself or something. I know that one's stupid, but that's there. Moving on to the Logitech G502 Proteus Spectrum, I think it has way better feeling of left and right clicks. In my opinion, it is a better and more accurate sensor. It also feels way more comfortable in my hand. I am a palm grip over a claw grip, and once going into that as well, I think this is more made for a palm grip. One other thing I wanted to talk about really quick too that I forgot to say is I don't know where to put my thumb or my pinky on the M65 Pro, where this one it just seems to work. Also, the side material is nice on this, but it's really rough, where the rubber for this and kind of texture is better, where I feel like my hand slips a little bit less more on this. However, I feel like I sweat more using this mouse than I do this mouse. Kind of weird stuff, but there it is. Anyways, going back to the G502, I prefer the LED placement for this a lot better because I can actually see it a lot better when I'm using it, where with the Corsair, when you're actually using the mouse, you completely cover almost all of the LEDs except maybe the DPI light. And like I said, you pretty much can't ever see this front light, so it's practically pointless. Where with this guy, because most of the time you're kind of holding your mouse if I can actually get this, kind of like this, you actually see the DPI light all the time, which is nice. I also think the RGB coloring in this is a lot more accurate and brighter and more vibrant. The dual scroll wheel is also super awesome on this. Like I said, I couldn't make a decision between the two. I like that this one has more customizable buttons, even though I only use like 2 of them, which is literally the profile switcher. I don't use the DPI switcher, and I use this button for my push to talk. But you know, buttons, more is always better, I guess. I think this mouse also glides more easily. Strangely enough, it actually feels lighter than the other one just because it glides easier and because it's more comfortable in my hand. I think it's still attractive. It's really simple. I think with this full black, like really black everything other than the LEDs, it really makes the LED punch more. I like the rubber grips, like I said earlier. I also like that you can update this at 50 DPI at a time over the 100. However, the other one started at 100 DPI, where this one starts at 200. The switches on this feel more high quality. This does make noise when you're shaking it a little bit. Mostly all of that is from that scroll wheel, and that's it. So if you're actually holding the scroll wheel and you're shaking it, you don't get any type of noises. I like that this has an invisible sensor, where this one actually has a red sensor that you can see, even though they are both optical sensors. I think it's stupid that the RGB zones can't be changed independently. There's only 3 profiles, which is really stupid to me. It has inferior software, which is really dumb. It's also $20 more expensive. However, you can find this guy on sale all the time for $60. So if you're going to get this one, I recommend waiting for the sale, but that's completely up to you. And the scroll wheel can feel a little bit loose, so it is made out of metal though, so it's always pretty cool to the touch. Alright, so I'm going to go into the click test for both of these mouses, so you can compare which one you think sounds better or makes more noise or whatever. I don't know why people like the click test, but I'm going to throw it in there. All right, so let's look at the software differences between both of them. Right now I'm in the Logitech gaming software. So this is actually my Proteus core, and then this is the Proteus Spectrum. So what's cool is that you can have both of those at the same time. Here's your home button. You've got your onboard memory. Is it on or off? I have it off, I believe. I have it on for my onboard memory. If you click this, then you can have automatic game detection. Moving on, these are all your profiles, so you can have 3 profiles. You can turn those on or off, and then you can change all of your settings. So for example, if I wanted this button to do something, you can click edit, and then you've got your mouse function. Like I said, you can actually pick a program, and if I completely missed it, then that's me being an idiot, but I didn't find it, unless if you have to do it through a macro, which I think would be really dumb. And then you've got your different DPIs that can be edited at 50 at a time, and then you've got your number of levels, so you can do 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And then you've got your sniper button as well. Oh, you can choose your different polling rates, so I completely messed up on that part. And then you can also click, like, say, use generic or unassign. And then going into the RGB lighting, once again, you have 3 profiles that you can select. And then right here, what really confused me at first was, in order to choose a static color, you actually have to go to lighting effect, turn off, and then you have to turn on the logo or whatever. And then you have your choices of RGB color right there. And then If you wanted a lighting effect, that's where you also turn on the lighting effect, and you can choose which one or both. And then you can also do the breathing effect, and if you want to do the logo or not, do you want to do the DPI or not? So I guess that's kind of cool where you could do just one of them turning on and off, but still not the best. And then how bright do you want it? What's the rate? So how fast does it go? Is there a sleep timer? And it does sync up to other programs, so if you have other Logitech devices, you can use them. I'm going to go back to off. Actually, I'm going to go back to color cycle because that's what I like. And here you can surface tune your mouse, and then this is just kind of a heat map of the buttons. In your settings, you actually can choose for the DPI lighting if you always want it on or not. If by default this is actually unclicked, so the DPI lighting doesn't always stay on. I do like it. You shouldn't ever use angle snapping because you've got a really nice expensive gaming mouse that you're using, that you should be using the DPI instead. So if you're using angle snapping, shame on you. Unless if you're doing something where you really need straight lines, that's the only reason why you should be using that. Device startup effect, you can read that. And then you've got your different profiles. You can make it do game profiles, which is kind of interesting. And then the ARX control, I have no idea what that is. So, all right, moving on to the Corsair software. This is what we're using right now. As you can see, I have the K70 RGB rapid fire keyboard plugged in there. And then I've got the M65 RGB Pro. So if we click into that, here are all of my profiles. So currently I have 8 profiles, even though 2 of them aren't used. So I have a total of 6 that I can use by pressing a button on my keyboard to change them. So, and then you've got actions. So here is where you're going to be able to do like a macro or text or remap a key media launch application, which is the other one that's missing on the G502. I seriously don't get it. It blows my mind. You can disable it, so on and so forth. This adds it. Then you can like copy action, save it to a library, view library. You can search actions, and then you can delete actions. Moving into the lighting effects, this is where if you press add, this turns it on or off, and then you've got your rainbow, color shift, color pulse, static color lighting link. So you've got way more options where you had 3 for the G502. And then if you go into your advanced mode, you've got static, gradient, and solid, and then you can change all your colors right there, and you can do as many of those as you want, but we're not doing that. So I'm going to go back over here, turn that on, delete that. And then going into the DPI, you have just defaults that were automatically set that I haven't deleted yet. And then you can choose your color of your DPI right here of up to 5 of them. And then you've got your sniper button. And then you can have X and Y DPI, which is pretty nice. You could only have X for the Logitech G502. And then you've got your basic and color settings. And then your wheel, of course. And then are these on or off? So I've got these 2 profiles off because I only use 3. I game at 800 DPI. Going to performance, you have angle snapping or enhanced pointer precision. You shouldn't use either of these because the enhanced pointer precision adds acceleration, which you don't want, especially once again, you have this really nice gaming mouse. You shouldn't be using stuff like that. The lift height, which is nice because you can choose low, middle, or high. One thing to mention for this, the G502 has a very low angle snapping, about 1 CD, where the M65 Pro has a 2 CD thing even on the lowest setting. And then you've got your calibration, surface calibration. So performance, like I said, I have 2 videos in the description of this video that you can go check out if you really want to watch video gameplay of me. What I do for both of those is I have one that is me playing video games on how accurate I am. I think it's mostly CSGO, and then there might be some other clips in there as well. And then it goes into a shooting range in CSGO to just see how accurate I am there, to try to do more of a empirical, like, better test. And then I've got a program that I found online that tests like 5 different things for mice to see which one I score higher with. The spoiler alert, G502 won on every single thing. I scored better on all of them. I don't know if that's, like I said, because I've used the Proteus core for longer. I don't think it is, because I really wanted the M65 Pro to be better, but I just couldn't make it happen. And the G502 just feels better in my hand. and everything like that. So let's jump over to overall impressions. So both of these mice are very amazing. Don't get me wrong, you're not going to make a bad choice if you choose either one of these. It's going to come down to personal preference as well. What is more important to you? For me personally, performance is more important to me, and I perform better with the Logitech G502. I also find it more comfortable and it feels better to me, which is why I'm going to choose it as the winner. But it is a hard choice, and it took me like a week and a half of testing this to really come to my decision of me liking the G502 better, but I just constantly wanted to keep going back to it just because it was more accurate, and I just constantly did better in games with it, where with the M65 Pro, I wanted to keep using it because I really liked how it felt in my hand because of the aircraft aluminum, and that scroll wheel is just so freaking good, but I just didn't like the click. It wasn't as comfortable for me to feel, and I wasn't as accurate with it. I also felt that the G502 just glided across my mouse pad way easier than the M65 Pro, which was a big deciding factor for me as well. I think that the M65 aesthetics or looks are way better, and I think the programming for that is a million times better, and I like the sniper button placement of that one a lot better, but everything else kind of went to the G502. So, I want your opinion. Do you own both of these mice? Have you tried both of these mice? After this review, which one would you choose? Let me know in the comment section below because I really do value your opinion and really do want to know. If there's anything that I missed in this review or anything that you would like me to add in future reviews, let me know in the comment section below as well. I'm going to end this video here, so if you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a dislike. And of course, if you've been following my content for a while, please do subscribe and make sure to check out my other videos. And I will see you and your beautiful face on the next one. See ya!